Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cool Water Show, where we are a podcast about the Real Housewives universe. I am Kari, I am one of your co-hosts, and I am joined by Katie. Katie, how is your Sunday fun day going?
My Sunday fun day is going well. I've really just been sitting around, haven't left the house today. Did a deep clean on our apartment yesterday, so I'm just lounging in cleanliness.
Lounging and cleanliness sounds great.
hmm
That is something that I need to do. I like
It was
I
overdue.
wish I could have the room. Yeah, I understand that. Nitro is in like full shed season, so we
Oh
are
yeah.
like hair everywhere.
hmm
Um, And it's not like I vacuum, I just have the Roomba vacuum, but it's still
Mm,
like setting everything up for the Roomba to prepare, like, or be able to do it. That I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, when really I should have done it like 2 days ago. So I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah. I hear you.
We had a light week this week
We
for
did.
Housewives. However, Orange County finally decided to give us something to talk about.
Yes. And I think this is going to be one of our very few light weeks because I don't know if you've seen this
Yes.
lineup we have coming soon, but Beverly Hills is going to start soon. Atlanta's going to start soon. We have reunions coming up. We're going to have Ultimate Girls Trip 2, and we have Dubai coming in June,
Yes.
which is
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in. I don't know if you're going to be in, but I'm all
Oh
in on
yeah,
Dubai.
absolutely.
Our
Absolutely.
first official international housewives through Bravo.
Yes, I was thinking of that. I'm like, oh wow, this is we're gonna be full steam ahead very
We
soon
really
with
are.
all housewives all the time. So we should enjoy our light weeks while we can.
Yes.
So
Yes. Let's
yes,
bask in
you're gonna
these.
get a little bit less of us this week, but we're gonna be
hmm
bringing you so much come like next month.
Yeah.
I'm 2 seasons away from being because it's season 14 that's starting for Atlanta. So I just got to the reunion of season 11, I think. So I have two
Oh, okay.
seasons that I need to
You
get
got
done
this.
this month before Atlanta. So I'm not worried. I'll
No.
definitely get that done.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm feeling the pressure to get caught up and just be ready for the onslaught of housewives coming on.
It's going to be a
So
lot.
many of them. Well, we are going to start this week with New Jersey because Orange County, we feel like we have a lot to say. Where New Jersey, I think we got like the tamer episode of the
Yeah.
season, so that I'm sure that shit is just gonna pop off like next week because
Yeah.
that's how New Jersey works. Like they can't have more than 8 to 10 calm minutes in a row. So
No, for sure.
when we like started the episode off back at the ropes course, and
hmm
Teresa like finishing her storming out of the establishment. As the staunch Teresa defender you are, where are you at with Teresa right now in terms of just everything that the chaos that's really ensuing here in terms of her frustration or anger with Tracy and with Margaret and with Tiki? Like, tell me where you're at with Teresa.
It's going to be an unpopular opinion, I think, but I'm still on Teresa's side. I know she's almost undefendable, and I get it. You cannot defend her, and I'm not defending her actions, but I understand how she feels. Well, I mean, I don't understand, but feel like I can understand how she feels, and I feel like it's been so many seasons of these people coming for her, and now Margaret's doing it, and you know how I feel about Tracy. And it's not good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
leave Tracy on the ropes course up in the tree by herself. That's where she was. That's where she's meant to be. No one gave a shit that she was up there alone. She was just like watching from afar. That's where she belongs. That should be her new home. Just live in the tree. We don't need you. Um, but I don't know. Teresa doesn't handle things appropriately. And the one thing that I won't defend is, and you may not, this was last season, but so you may not be like super familiar with what really happened with the analogy. But when she had told uh, the girls on the show that Evan was cheating on Jackie, Jackie approached her and had a conversation with her and said, "What if I said that Gia was doing coke at a party in a bathroom?" And Teresa flew off the handle. And she was like, it was an analogy. And Teresa was like, well, you have to say that's where like this was, you have to say it's an analogy. It was an analogy
I was
thing
wondering like why
came
there was
from.
so much misuse of the term analogy
That is
happening.
why. That's why. She said, what if I told you that Gia was doing coke in a bathroom at a party? And then I don't even know if she said what if. She may have said like I heard Gia was doing coke in the bathroom. But she clearly meant it as an analogy, but Teresa stormed off and was just dropping see you next Tuesday, see you next Tuesday, see you next screaming at her when she left her house. Once again, I'm on Teresa's side. Like, you don't need to bring up her daughter who's been through so much, who at that point was on the show, but like not as much as she's on the show right now. So I was on Teresa's side. Then, like, just choose a different analogy. You don't have to choose one about her daughter doing drugs in the bathroom, because then that just puts that narrative out there. So I don't know. I mean, for her to be like, you have to say it's an analogy before you use an analogy was like a little ridiculous. But you know what? I love to watch her. So she makes me laugh, even when she's out of her mind, which she was this week, 100%.
If I were to power rank the frustrations she has with different people right now, here's where they would rank from least to greatest. I think that her anger at Tiki is the least justified, because I think Tiki Barber did make a good point where he's like, I asked Louis if I could ask him a question, and Louis said yes. Like, Louis said, I'm an open book, go for it. And so like, and Teresa wasn't there for it. She's kind of like hearing, because it was even Louis that told her about the question. Was it like other women? Either way.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
It's like, I think that is the least justified. I really think she needs to drop that one.
Louis not mad about it. As she said, I'm mad about it. Well, that's what she says anyway. I could imagine Louis is probably pretty annoyed about it, but they just don't want it to come off that way. But you know what? Like, let Louis handle it with Tiki then, if that's the situation.
Or just don't say like, you know what? I'm not really comfortable right now talking about it, but if you want to talk one-on-one,
right? Privately,
cool. Like,
yeah.
So I think that's the least justified. It's very hard for me to be like, okay, Teresa, I don't see where you're coming from on this. Like, straight up, I think you just need to let that one go.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of bleeds into her frustration with Tracy, which is where I rank it number 2. And I rank it there because Tracy is new. So I do think that like I'm sure she knows stuff, but she hasn't experienced Teresa, right? And so I think she was trying to be the good friend, be the voice of reason, also kind of stand up for Melissa and part of this stuff, and just not realizing like, bitch, just don't go there. Like, that's just not what we do here. So I can understand why Teresa is like, shut up, you don't get it. You like, we have history, we are family. Like, I understand Teresa's anger there. The one that I think she's most justified with is Margaret, because it just seems like they are willing to go deep in history in terms to continue justifying their frustration with each other. And like, I was kind of, I won't lie, I tuned out with like the analogy stuff, because half of it, like, do they know what an analogy is? Like,
I don't know if any of them know what an analogy is, except for Jackie.
So it just seems like Margaret knows you need to take big swings with Teresa, and Teresa is clearly not afraid to take big swings. So that's how I rank the Teresa anger from least justified to most justified. Would you change any of those rankings? Would you move 1, 2, or 3 around?
I think you're right with Tiki. Yes, and I kind of agree. I think I agree overall. I would put Tracy like a little higher, not higher than Margaret, but like a little bit of an overlap with Margaret. Like, she's like, Margaret's like 1 and she's like 1.5, not really like 2 to me, because Tracy just like came in hot. She was defending Melissa against Teresa with the Jennifer stuff when she like really didn't know anything, and should have kept her mouth shut and not gotten involved. And then same with this. It's like her and her husband are now digging and asking all these questions when Teresa is right. There's a lot of rumors about Tracy out there. And while Tracy's like, I'll talk about it, it's just like, if you live in a glass house, like, don't throw stones. You say these things aren't true about your family. So then what makes them true about Louis? They could be equally as untrue about Louis if you're saying that your stuff is untrue. So why are you the one that's asking so many questions when you have your own dirt out there is kind of how I feel. But yes, I do think she's the most justified with against Margaret. They have a history. They used to be very good friends. When you watch a season, you'll kind of, when you watch back and catch up, you'll kind of see how all of this unfolded. It's been like a little bit of a strange ride with Teresa and Margaret.
All right. That's good to know. I am thinking about watching Miami before New Jersey just
Makes
because
sense.
I think I want, a little bit. Me and Atlanta have been in the trenches for a long time now that I just need a little fling before I get back into another committed relationship.
Yeah, you need a rebound.
Like, I need a hot girl summer with the Miami women before I settle in and really become a family person with New Jersey. So I think that's where I'm going next.
It makes sense. It's a natural trajectory.
And then I'll be caught up minus like Dallas, which will be great. So, and I don't even know if I might watch it. I might not. There's just so many other Bravo shows I want to get into.
I would ditch Dallas. Well, it has some moments, but it's just not. I don't think I've ever fully watched Dallas from start to finish, and it's canceled. So,
and if you haven't, then I don't need to because you are like
I'm in and out. I'm in and out on it.
Okay. Next, we get Jennifer and Bill at dinner talking marriage, and I don't know if it's insensitive for me to say this, but like nothing's progressing out of these conversations, so I'm kind of bored of it. Sorry for your marriage, but
I like the side of Jen that we're seeing. She's much like softer and more vulnerable than we've really seen in the past, so I do like that. But I almost would prefer that they just handle this off camera because obviously Bill is not interested in airing this out publicly, and it's just going to lead to more trouble for them, I think, if they continue to have these conversations on camera. So just deal with it at home. Not everything has to be on the show. Like, we get it. It was brought up for the show, but I just don't. Go to counseling privately and deal with it if that's what you decide to do, even though I know that they don't really want to do that. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, I'm losing interest in the storyline unless like her mom were to come back from Turkey and like this shit on fire. I can't imagine what else develops because now all the women are on her side as well.
Yeah.
And really he just has shit to figure out with the men.
Right.
But again, this is like shit from a decade ago. So I'm not really that interested. I do get what you're saying. And maybe it's just because like it's my first season with them that seeing Jen in this manner of like going from just like below the belt shots constantly to being vulnerable. I don't have like the 10 previous years of seeing her like act how she normally does. So then be like, oh wow, this is refreshing. But yeah, I hope the storyline like dies out because unless something worthwhile happens, but I don't need to keep revisiting it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate to go backwards. There's one thing about the tree place that whatever it's called, the tree course or ropes course that I did want to talk about.
Please go backwards.
So Teresa left her workout gear there for everybody to try on. But then, she stormed away. And there's been a few times now where Teresa has stayed behind, that Melissa and Joe are like, I can't believe she would stay with them. I can't believe she didn't come with us. We're her family. And Melissa didn't follow Teresa out and was like, nobody's mad. Why nobody's pissed? And Teresa's like, I'm fucking pissed. And she's like, shut the fuck up. Do you find that hypocritical? Because in the beginning of this, well, I guess it wasn't even in the beginning of the season, but when things got real with Jen and Melissa was very angry at Teresa for not leaving with her and not having her back. And Teresa's obviously very upset with Margaret for all the things that she's saying about Louis. And Melissa stayed. Is that not hypocritical? A little bit?
Here's why I could say that. I mean, like, I could see both arguments being defended. However, if I had to choose a side, why I don't think it's hypocritical is because in the first instance with Melissa and Jen, two parties were angry. Like there was a definitive two sides of like what's going on. And like there was anger versus anger, where this was just like Teresa versus everybody. And so I like if Melissa leaves with her, what is accomplished there? You know what I mean? Like, except showing your allegiance. However, Melissa just had that like good moment with Jen. And so I could also see like justifying like, hey, I have this. I want to like follow up and continue, which she did bring up when they were sitting. She's like, well, the best thing that came out of today for me was the conversation I had with Jen, and I feel like I'm on at like a much better place with her or whatever. So I guess that's like the difference for me, is that the first instance it was like side A versus side B, and clear lines
that
in
makes
the
sense.
sand, versus this was just like Teresa. The tree could have looked at her the wrong way, and she probably
That is true. She came
it.
in pretty hot.
Right. So,
but even for Melissa to maybe like walk with her to the car and try and calm her down a little bit, maybe not leave like in the car with her, but at least like walk away with her and be like, what is going on? And try and have like a moment with her and then go back to everybody to like squash it a little bit. Could have been
that's
something.
a happy medium.
Yeah.
I think that's a happy medium. But I don't think like the biggest peacemaker in the world could have walked with her and she would have been like,
also
oh,
true.
I feel better now. So
also true.
If anything, like I feel like that would have just started shit between Teresa would have found a reason to yell at Melissa, you know? Like,
true, which I always love to see it, but we haven't seen it in a few seasons. Anyway, sorry to derail.
No, that's not derailing. That was just like, you know, sometimes you forget something, you got to go back.
Yeah.
We took
just have to turn around, pick it back up.
Do a big Yui. It's fine. We're coming back. Now we're heading straight to the Jersey Shore. So after we get some insight on Jackie, continuing with her journey through her eating disorder, which she full out said, like, I have full-blown anorexia, which she's never said out loud before, apparently. I thought that this whole, like, both segments that they did with her, both at therapy and especially with her and Evan, was just interesting to watch. As someone who, because is Jackie newer? Is she?
She's a couple of seasons in now, maybe 5-ish seasons in. Yeah.
Okay.
No. 4 or 5, something like that.
I couldn't tell. So having more experience with Jackie, how did you take these scenes, and like what are you feeling in terms of just like where she's at right now with all this?
Yeah, I'm really glad she's talking about this, and I'm glad she's talking about it so publicly and that Bravo is handling it so well. I think we've seen housewives with eating disorders before, namely Jules on Real Houses of New York, and she got bullied pretty bad by Bethany and Carol, and it was not handled in a very appropriate way at all.
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
She was a one and done season. They went out to pizza. They did like a make your own pizza, and she put silverware in the calzone.
Oh yes.
So that was like a really rough season to watch because of how terrible Carol and Bethany were to her, and when she was obviously struggling with things. This season, I'm really happy that they're putting the right kind of attention on it instead of like bullying attention. And we've seen in past seasons that Jackie has. It's come up. She's talked about it before. She's talked to her dad about some things before. They've shown pictures of her, but she has always phrased it as if she was in recovery. So it's nice to hear her say, like, I've been pretending that I've been in recovery, or, you know, I've been saying that, but I really haven't been. So it feels like she's really being honest with herself and with us and with everybody, and finally like addressing this thing that it's very common. A lot of people deal with eating disorders, and we've heard about it in Beverly Hills as well, with Lisa Rinna's daughters and Kyle. So I'm happy that she's going through all of this recovery, not happy that she's going through her eating. I'm happy that she's going through all of this on the screen. So, you know, I'm hoping that it makes it more real for her and that she takes it very seriously. And I'm hoping that it helps people who are seeing it. And I'm sad for her and her family that this is something that she's been carrying around for so long.
I think something that has kind of struck me is that it seems like it was Evan telling her, that's her husband's name, correct? Okay. I wrote it down as Evan, and then I'm like, I could be entirely wrong right now.
He's Evan.
So that when he told her, when they were sitting at that meal, initially when she first brought it up this season, that like your daughters are noticing, like they're asking questions, and it feels like that is the sentiment that has kind of started the recovery train like a little bit quicker than maybe it has in the past, because she's brought it up a couple of times of like, my kids are noticing, and I need to be a good example for them, and I want to be here for them. So I'm glad that like something resonated, because I think that in situations, just in general, when you need help, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an eating disorder, it could be a variety of things that a lot, like you could hear it, you could acknowledge it, you can see it, and there's usually like that one thing that's like, oh shit, I gotta do something.
Yeah, and it goes back to that saying of like, you can't help someone unless they want to be helped. Like, you really can't. People need to reach that point on their own. I'm sure we've all known people who have had different types of things that they've needed help with: an eating disorder, some kind of addiction of some sort, just anything, any kind of disease like that. And you really can't help people unless they want to be helped, or unless they're ready to be helped. And it feels like Jackie finally is ready to be helped. And maybe it is the thing with her kids finally noticing. And she probably doesn't want them to see this as an example, because this has to be torture for her, truly, like to live with this for so long. And she even says she's always hungry. Like, this has to be truly torture for her. And I'm sure she doesn't want her kids or anybody else in her family to go through that. Also, can we just say how awful kids are? She said that she was in high school, or I don't know if it was school, but school in general, was putting lipstick on, and some kid walked by and said it won't help. And that like is what really struck with her. And the fact that she's an accomplished, wealthy woman, and that she still thinks about that moment, like, just be kind, children. I'm sure we don't have children watching this or listening to this, but like, if you have kids, please just like teach them to be kind to people. Like, we don't need to be doing this. We just don't. You never know how something that you say is gonna hit somebody.
My former students are currently on a full-on scavenger hunt to find me on any and all internet social medias. So we never know. If any of my former students are listening to this, stop and do your homework. That's why you have like a
definitely do your
C-
homework
in math, and be nice to other people. Thanks in advance.
Those are the two most important things. Do your homework and be nice to people.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I am hoping that Evan on camera and Evan in confessionals is the same Evan off camera, because I feel like he is giving like a YouTube how-to on how to be a supportive spouse through this. Like for him to, I mean, he says he's noticed things, and to make her feel safe enough. I mean, even however many years later, it's still the fact that he's not like, I've been saying this for years, or like, you could potentially fuck our kids up or whatever. Like I'm watching this and I'm like, wow, that is, I don't know what their relationship is like, but at least this dynamic that we're seeing, like, I am very happy that this is who Jackie has as a partner, and I appreciate how Evan is handling it.
Yeah, me too. And I like that we're seeing the side of Evan, because traditionally he's been a little quiet in the last few seasons. Even when his name was out as being part of a rumor and stuff, he really didn't get like too involved in the show. And if this is really who he is, then Jackie is very lucky to have somebody as supportive as him, to kind of help her and their family through all of this.
Yeah,
not everybody has that. So
he's my favorite New Jersey husband as of right now. Not that I can even probably name the other ones, but no, I can. I think I can. Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
All right, pop quiz.
Yep. All right. So, well, you have Louis, and then like former husband Joe, right? Okay. And then you have Joe and Melissa, and then Tiki and Jackie, even though she's not really a housewife right now. Then you have Frank and David for Dolores, but right. But now
David's the ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
Right. But Dolores now actually has like real boyfriend whose name I don't know.
I don't know his name either.
Okay. Then I'm not off on that. We have Jennifer and Bill. And now can I even name all the New Jersey housewives is really the question. Margaret, I don't know. I know that I remember when I saw him get out of the SUV for the softball game, I was like, that's an interesting choice in husband. But I know that she like cheated on her first husband with him. I don't know his name though.
I'll give you a hint. It's the same as another husband's name and another former husband's name.
Joe.
Yes.
Everybody's Joe. If I
Everybody in
don't
New
know
Jersey
it,
is named Joe.
they're
Yeah,
Joe.
Frank or
Got
Joe.
it.
That's pretty much everybody.
Okay, I think I named everyone then. Pretty tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
All
you did.
right,
Yeah.
so
Great
it was
job.
just the fourth Joe that I didn't know. But
Yes.
okay, my
Yeah.
bad.
When in doubt, just guess Joe.
Okay, good life advice.
In the tri-state area, when in doubt, if you don't know a man's name, just assume it's Joe.
Joe, and then if that doesn't work, you can just easily break into a Joe Mama joke, and then everybody thinks you're funny. So like, works out perfectly.
Yeah.
After
Exactly.
we talk about Jackie, we get the charity softball game, which this is like Dolores's event that they're raising money like on behalf of her mother. I couldn't. What's it?
They're
I can't
raising
remember
money
the-
on behalf of a breast cancer clinic, I
Was it
believe.
I thought it was
Yeah,
heart
because
disease.
she had a scare last
Okay.
season
Oh,
where they
right,
found something. She got a
right.
biopsy. She's fine.
Yes.
But it's that clinic, I guess, or
Got
office that she went to. I don't know the practice. I guess I don't know how to phrase
Okay. They played against like the hospital's all-star team.
it. Like actually people that knew how to play softball.
I mean, did they? They ended up
Well,
losing,
I don't know. They
so.
made it seem like they did at the beginning, but then who knows, really?
Well, once Joe gave everybody Michael's secret, in Space Jam, like Michael's secret stuff at halftime, the wine bottle, aka a shot of alcohol. It seemed like everybody on the New Jersey Housewives team.
Yeah, it kicked them right into gear.
Yeah, they became all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to the game though,
yeah,
because I've played many softball games in my life and that was hard. But anyway, before we get to the game, everyone's getting there and the like underlying drama is the day or two before Teresa told everyone via text like, hey, I'm bringing stuff from my new athletic line so you could wear it. I'm bringing leggings and shorts. Like I would appreciate if you would wear this during the event.
And it sounded like she was donating the proceeds or some of the proceeds to the charity.
I didn't pick up on that, but I believe you.
I think she said that to maybe Gia or in a confessional, but she did say it somewhere in the episode that she was going to donate some of the proceeds from the sale. She was selling it at the game and she was going to donate some of it to the charity. So she wanted all the girls to wear it so they would get more, they would sell more, and then she would be able to donate more.
Makes sense. And
not the worst intentions.
No. Margaret was like, absolutely not. And Tracy, which I guess is like, I think I can understand Tracy's justification of no, of like, you were just a bitch to me. Why am I going to do you a favor?
What I wish is that Teresa brought a bag for everyone but Tracy. That's like my headcanon is what happened, because that's what I would have wanted to do, is give a bag to everyone except for Tracy.
Mm-hmm. And when Teresa gets there, she gives everyone the leggings.
More stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because she dropped things off at the place, had their names on a little tag, because when she stormed off of the treescape place,
she was like, I brought gifts now.
And then she's like, here's your bags. The bags are here. And she made a very heavy-handed point that she was leaving the bags.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know why. But it seemed like she brought more stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe she didn't give shorts and leggings in the bag. Yeah, maybe this was like in addition to.
Maybe.
And
generous queen.
Yeah. Margaret though was just like, yeah, we're good. We're not gonna wear these. We're good.
Yeah. Margaret came in a little hot.
Mm-hmm. And Teresa picked up on it immediately. She's like, oh, we're good. That's it. That's how you're gonna say it. It's just we're good. And here is my guiding light, my moral compass, Gia Judice, who if you go on the subreddits, I was drunk on Friday defending that girl because she's my favorite. I know she's not a housewife, but she's my favorite on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to gravitate towards like the more level-headed characters in these types of shows. You do.
You love a level-headed housewife.
Yeah.
I on the other hand, do not.
Yeah.
Give me the more unhinged housewives.
And so Gia is that for me. And she's like, Teresa supports you in everything. Like, you can't put on these leggings.
Right.
To which then people started caving. Did everyone end? No. So
No.
who didn't put them on?
Margaret did not. I think the only people who did were Melissa
and
and Dolores. And Melissa was probably like, am I really going to like cause this disruption in my family right now by not? And she kind of said that. She was like, I'm not going to cause this drama in my family over a pair of leggings, which like, thank you.
That was
Thank you.
smart.
Yeah. And Dolores, I think.
I'm assuming Jen put them on.
Yeah, I think Jen had them. I think Jen wore them there because she took a picture with Gia because they were like, oh, twins. So I think Jen wore them there. And I don't know about I don't think Jackie put them on.
Yeah, okay. So about half of them did. And that led to comments from Teresa throughout the game of,
yes,
I don't know if those were like completely necessary.
No, they weren't.
They provided entertainment, but
yeah, that's another thing on the list that I'm not going to defend Teresa on. Is some of the comments that she made.
However, they will help your butt not jiggle, which will help you run faster. That's what I learned about. Maybe I'll go and check out Teresa's athletic line.
Yeah. Well, before we get to, because I have thoughts on that, but before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit more about Gia and the history of children on this show, daughters specifically, because I feel like Gia's getting a lot of heat online, which you must have seen because you came to her defense, which I appreciate on behalf of my favorite housewife, Teresa. We've had Brianna on really in the mix on Real Housewives of Orange County, Vicky's daughter. We've had Ashley, who you haven't met yet, who was Jacqueline Larita's daughter, who's a former Real Housewife of New Jersey from the beginning, who in season 2 pulled Danielle Staub's hair and got arrested not arrested, but charges were put on her because she was defending her mother. There has been children of housewives that have been much more in the mix and much more, I would say, harsh in their defense of their family and their parents. So why is everybody coming for Gia? Because all she said was she's supported you and everything that she's done. And her mother needs someone to defend her because first of all, Teresa never can get her point across appropriately because she's just not, she's not a wordsmith. Let's be honest.
She's not appropriate.
And no. And, I think Gia is so protective of her family because her family has been through so much. So she's going to protect her mom at all costs. Her mom's the only parent that she has here. We talked a lot about how she was upset about moving and the house is the only thing she has with her dad. I mean, she's going to defend her mom. Like, everybody needs to just relax. She's basically an adult. She's going to be 21 or is 21 in real life.
She's 21 in the show, or at least.
Oh, is she? Okay. I think she's either 20 or 21. Okay. Then she's,
I'm assuming they're not going to let her drink on camera.
Yeah, probably not on camera. Probably not on camera.
Unless they weren't actually alcoholic drinks. But I'm pretty sure that she was 21 during the show.
Yeah. Okay. So even even
let
her defend her mom.
She's an adult. At 18, you're an adult.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true.
She's had to face more shit than most adults.
Than I have. So. Yeah.
I also just think that, like, in the grand scheme of defending your family, she does it in such like a peaceful and level-headed way that if you as an audience member are going to get mad at her for how she's handling herself, like, if she flipped the fuck out, would you be okay with it? Because I don't understand like what there is to be mad at right now. She made a comment saying, hey, because also it seems like, is Gia in on this business? Because she was on like
I think so.
I mean,
I think so.
Her.
She's on all the Instagram posts and stuff too. Yeah, make your money.
Right? Even more reason for her to be like, yo, bitch, put the fucking leggings on.
Yeah, totally. And it's really a big deal. It's just leggings and the proceeds are going to charity. Everybody relax. Like, just relax.
I've defended Gia for the few weeks I've known her. I think she's great. And if you are someone who is online and coming for Gia, I would like you to take a second and to reflect on why you are coming for Gia. What annoys you so much about a well-spoken 21-year-old who has dealt with more shit than you probably ever have on a national television level? Like, what is your issue with what she's doing? Because I think you have an issue with you. I don't think you have an issue with her. You're projecting. You're
Agreed.
Nene Leaksing this because Nene
Ooh.
Leaks, as she's the queen of projecting.
Yes, she
You
is.
are Nene Leaksing this situation if you're mad at Gia.
Yes, I agree. And you know what? I'll take it a step further. Show yourselves, and I will personally invite you on this podcast. You can debate us on Gia Judice, and I promise you, you will lose. But you can try. You can
Hell
try.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best thing ever.
Raise your hand.
Oh, I'm
You're
putting
more
this
than
on
welcome.
all the subreddits when
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Please. Team Gia through and through.
Team
Give me
Gia.
a fucking t-shirt. I'll wear it as a headband.
You know, I'm Team Judice in general.
Yes.
I'm blanket Team Judice. Even Joe in some situations, not in the crime, but if you're comparing Gorga to Judice, I'm Team Judice.
There we go. So if you want to come onto this podcast, we're waiting for you.
Yeah,
we're ready.
We're waiting. Show yourselves.
my social justice warrior fingers can't type fast enough on Reddit, especially when I'm like drunk on my phone and I'm like proofreading 6 times so that doesn't look like I'm a complete idiot.
It's all good.
Kind of one. We get to the game. The Housewives fall behind 6-0 in the first inning, which to be fair, in slow pitch softball, that's like really not that bad. Like six runs in an inning is like kind of normal. So like, yeah, they made 14 errors. But really that's like not the worst thing I've ever seen. So that was okay. But really we have like a variety of skill levels happening. Jackie's like, I played in high school, and then this is a pop-up. Joe was playing shortstop. He seemed okay. Louis like had his moments. They brought in someone who played in college to be their pitcher. She made plays. Whose son was playing first base?
Dolores.
Dolores' son.
Not great.
Yeah, he wasn't that good.
No.
They probably would have fared better if they had replaced him with someone who could catch just a little bit better than him, but it still worked out. However, they had a former professional football player show up and then
how unfair is that?
I mean, so any of those doctors could have played like baseball in college, you know? There's nothing they couldn't have. I mean, Tiki Barber's a running back.
But I feel like the majority of his time probably was focused on football, but like there are so many football players that also are baseball players that are like, you know, they decided in between their careers which ones they were going to do. I don't know if that's him, but I just feel like if you're an athlete, a professional athlete, you already have a leg up. Whether it's maybe not hockey, like if it's ice hockey, that's a little different. But if it's like basketball, baseball, football, like soccer, probably he'd be good at too. I think hockey's probably the only one where you might not necessarily have a leg up because that's like a totally different skill. But I think he would have smoked anybody in anything.
At least he didn't like come in and then just like destroy the ball. You know what I mean? Like it'd be one thing if he was there for the whole game and he hit like 5 home runs for his team or whatever. I mean, he was only there for like 2 innings and got 1 at bat. But his defense, that diving catch, I was surprised he held on to that. I was I was happy they showed the replay because I was going to rewind it to be like, whoa, wait a second. Like, did he drop that? So I just wanted to say that I named him the MVP of the game.
Okay, fair.
And I was impressed by his defensive skills. I'm much more of a defensive fan anyway in baseball. I would rather watch a team pitch and play defense than bat if like I could choose when to go to the bathroom when I'm at like a game or whatever. So I was just very appreciative of that, and I know that Tiki doesn't always get the nicest things said about him.
No, nor should he.
On here. However, good job, Tiki. Way to
Yeah, we'll give you your flowers for this one. You earned them.
So they ended up raising over 200 something thousand dollars, 225,000, I think, or it was over 200,000, and 125 came from like the place that the minor league team where they were holding the game. So that's still great. That was a lot of money for charity, and it ended up being one of the more like easygoing, fun episodes. People kind of came together. Wasn't a lot of drama. Oh my God, we did not bring up Jen running in the full blown catcher's mask.
I gasped. I was like, her face. I was so nervous for her nose. Thank God she had that. She didn't even try and catch herself. She just face planted,
I
fully
honestly thought she was
slammed her.
gonna break her wrist when she
I
fell.
was like, where is she? Why isn't she trying to like brace herself or put her arms down? Or she just like fell flat on her face.
You shouldn't put your arms down. That's how you're gonna break a wrist. Like that's.
Oh,
I
well,
thought she
okay, good for
actually.
her.
Yeah, like on that type of thing, when you're falling, you just, especially because she had the
Oh, I
mask
would have
on.
definitely tried to save myself.
Yeah.
I mean, what
But
do I know what my instincts would have done? But mentally, I was like, why is she not trying to help herself here?
I thought that this episode was gonna take a turn and we were like gonna go to the hospital
Me
because
too. I was
I
very
thought that
concerned.
she broke her wrist.
Very concerned. I
That
was
was
concerned for her
also,
nose.
yeah, I wasn't because I know how padded those
I
masks
thought she was gonna
are.
maybe like hit the but I guess
It's
that's the point of it, right? It's
it's
built made
nearly
not to do
impossible.
that.
There's
Yeah.
so much like there is like 2-ish inches at least like layer of cushioning on those catcher's masks
Yeah.
because they're meant like if you take
A ball to the
the
face.
foul ball to like so you don't
Yeah.
break your nose or anything. So when she fell, that wasn't my concern at all, having like worn those masks
Oh,
before.
good. Okay, good.
It was more like, oh shit, she definitely has like one less wrist than she did 2 minutes ago. But
Oh my God.
that's probably also because I had watched a UConn women's basketball game on Monday night and we like saw on live TV like a girl break her wrist, like
Oh,
falling
yikes.
and bracing herself. So I'm like, oh my God, why am I seeing this twice in a week? But really it wasn't.
Yikes.
However, just her like body positioning, it made sense why she fell. Like I don't understand how she was even running because she was almost at like hinged at her hips, like she was about to do a deadlift. So like the front, like her chest and like her stomach and head were significantly far more forward
Yeah.
than her hips and legs. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you even contort yourself that way while much less like walking, forget running, but she was so top heavy in that. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's no wonder that you fell over. However, it was hilarious. I was waiting for it. She ended up being safe too. Good on her.
Yeah, good for her. Good for her.
No broken bones.
No, she
Nose
came
is
out
okay.
alive,
And
unscathed.
she laughed at herself about it. So
Yes. She has a good sense of humor, Jen.
yeah. And
I'll say overall about this softball game, I had a great time watching this game. I felt like the editing was really good. They put like funny kind of music behind it. They made like a scoreboard. We got a clip of Teresa saying, "Did he score a touchdown?" Which I think she was joking. I mean, I will hope that she was joking. But then we got Joe being like, "Oh, my mother called me." What did he say that she
it was
called
like
him?
Touchdown Joe or something like
Yeah, but he
that.
said it like in the Italian accent, and was
Yeah.
just like, "This is my sister, and I grew up with it," whatever. And I just thought it was just really funny. I thought the dynamic between Louis and Joe seemed good. Like Louis kept going in front of him and catching the ball, and Joe was getting annoyed. I thought that was funny. I don't know. Felt like everybody had a really good time. It seemed like.
Yeah, I just think they're setting us up for there to be a whole bunch of yelling next episode because
Yes, and I bet it's going to be about the body shaming.
oh yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yeah. So essentially, Margaret was up at bat. She wasn't wearing Teresa's leggings, and Teresa said, "If you wear my leggings, it would hold." I don't know if she said it would hold your ass in place or not, but she said
It would stop your
then
butt from
it
jiggling.
would stop your butt from jiggling, and you'd be able to run faster.
Mhm.
Which I understand why that's inappropriate. And like I said, I'm not going to defend her. But what I will say is that there are different types of leggings. Some that are more compressing than others.
Mhm.
And like maybe that's what she was referring to and she didn't mean to. But again, I don't know. It was a shitty thing to say. I'm not defending her.
Mhm.
But I didn't read it as that at first. I was just like, oh, she's talking about the quality of the leggings. But then obviously I thought about it and was like, that's probably not what she was talking about.
Yeah, I think
maybe a little of both. I think
the intention is to take shots at her for not wearing the leggings, but like she could have done it in different ways as opposed to bringing up specific body parts jiggling.
Yes, agreed.
So I'm sure there'll be lots of drama next week, but for this week we just played some softball.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Great time. Our only other episode of Housewives this week, which was Orange County, and to me this was one of the more interesting episodes that we've had this season. It started off slow.
Yes.
So for behind the fourth wall, even though I don't know if there's a wall in podcasting, so whatever wall number you choose to go behind, Katie's like, I don't remember exactly what happened before they got to Aspen.
I was like, gotta be honest, don't remember a thing about.
I was like, that's because there was nothing worth remembering.
Yeah,
so like
great.
the episode started so slow, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. Like, I have to watch this and write down what about it. So they bounced around from like housewife to housewife. And the only thing that I think worth noting, which I had already also told Katie, is that when Shannon went to pack and she's like, I haven't even fully unpacked from Cabo yet. That is me. That
Yeah.
is 100% me. I am the worst at unpacking.
Same.
Packing,
I
I'm
hate
fine.
it. Same. I'm totally fine packing. Unpacking, I can leave something for 6 months.
Oh, easily. I was out of town Monday and Tuesday this week. I came back Wednesday morning. I didn't even bring like 2 full sets of clothes with me. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It took me until last night to empty the 2 pairs of clothes that I had into my hamper. That's all I had to do because I put it in my backpack. Like, that was it. And they had these like the packing cubes. So the packing cubes sat there. And it wasn't until last night. Why did it take me like 4 to 5 days to unpack 2 shirts and a pair of
Mine
pants?
would still be sitting somewhere right now.
I don't
if
even
I
know
were
why I
you.
did it. It was probably like the fastest I've unpacked.
Yeah.
My carry-on will like sit there for days after a
Same.
vacation.
My problem is I'm an overpacker. So I just like always overpack or inappropriately pack. And then I have all this stuff where I'm like, did I wear this? Did I not wear this? I have to put it back away. It's not like I could just like put it into a laundry bag and just be done with it. It's like, I overpacked here. I gotta put these shoes. It's just not a good situation for me. So I'll just leave it instead. I have a backpack that I took on a trip in December that I haven't emptied out yet. It's not like clothes, but it's like travel stuff, like headphones and other things. Like I did it this week because I had to go into my office. So I used that backpack. But before then, I had like travel razors and travel shampoo in there that I just never took out.
Oh, I leave that stuff in there because then I don't have
Yeah,
to worry about packing it the next time.
right. Well, that was my plan, but I didn't want
And
shampoo to leak all over my computer.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
No, for me, part of the motivation is the last few times I've traveled, it's been to my parents' house or at least to home. They heat their house with a wood furnace. So like when I leave, all of my stuff smells like I was being roasted at a like Austin barbecue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could put some sauce on me and serve me next to a pig. Like so I have to wash everything when I get home to like get rid of that smell. So for me it's just like okay, dump it all into the hamper. Now, how long will it take me to do the laundry is an entirely different story, but luckily we don't need to talk about that. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Shannon, I'm with you. I hate unpacking. And after they bounce around between the housewives, which again, like nothing important happened there, we get to Aspen. They take the private jet, which must be nice. And they're picking rooms. At what point are these housewives gonna come up with a good way to do this as opposed to just bitching about who gets what room? Also, all of the rooms are nice. You're all ungrateful.
Also, what are you there for like 3 days?
Yeah.
Who cares? Are you spending that much time in your room? Literally, who cares? Who cares? As long as you don't have to share it with someone, unless you want to share it with someone, who cares? I can understand wanting your own bathroom. Like in the last season of Potomac, when Robin and Giselle came into Wendy's house late and they had to like use the bathroom downstairs. That I understand. They had to share a room. It was a shitty room. Totally get why they left. Other than that, I've never had any housewives back when it comes to wanting a room, a specific room.
To me, it makes sense when like, okay, Emily and Gina ended up in the master suite. If two of them are going to share the master suite, that makes sense to me.
Sure.
Versus if like, or I think the host should get the best room.
This is the thing. Who's the host of this trip? It's Emily.
Not sure. Is it?
I think it's Emily.
Oh.
Didn't Emily plan it? So what the fuck? Shut up, Heather, is what I have to say. Shut up. And Noella, I guess. But like mostly Heather, shut up.
Noella, though, using her dad dying is why she should have the master suite.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
not great.
Like,
not great.
Because guess what? You will fall asleep on any bed regardless.
Right.
Noella, like Heather was annoyed by it, but Heather was more annoyed by Noella. She didn't care that Emily and Gina got the master suite.
Well, because those are her little minions, so why would she care?
Yeah. I mean, if it was Ramona, she would be flipping out, and
that's a whole other.
Yeah, I've actually appreciated the trips where they come up with a way of doing it. On a recent season of Atlanta that I watched, that Nene had everybody got a number, and then the number order, that was a number, or like the order that they drew names from.
Yeah, it was
the
the order you get
bowl.
to pick, right?
And then they picked that person's room, which was
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Marlo being like, "Bitch, you're staying in the bunk beds." Like when
Yes,
Candy was
yes.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna get put in the bunk bed room because I'm like I haven't been picked yet." And then Marlo being Marlo was like, "Nah, dog, I'm gonna caddy right now." Like I appreciate something like that, but
Yeah.
when it's just that argument doesn't provide fun drama for me. That
No.
argument provides, like, I get we're seeing these rich women and their lifestyles and all that, but like that is a level of bougie that I don't need to be a part of.
Yes, I agree.
Because like, did you
It's
see
also
that house? That house was beautiful.
beautiful. It's like every room is gorgeous. This is really what we're arguing about.
Right.
It just makes them seem like, yeah, I think these shows are supposed to be aspirational, but when they argue about stupid little things like this, there are a few other things that came up in this episode that made me go like, ugh. It just makes them feel so out of touch of reality that I'm almost like, I really hate these people and I don't want to hate them. I want to like love to hate them, but it makes me like really hate them when they
Yeah.
argue about stuff like this.
I never enjoy a picking rooms
No, me
thing
neither.
when
I
it
think we
is
need to
just
like,
the argument. Give me the way that like Nene
yeah,
handled it.
yeah,
Yeah, give
totally.
me that shit. I want to watch that because that's fun.
Right.
But when it's just like, oh, let me get this one, let me get that one, whatever.
Yeah.
Host should get the best room, and then after that,
Agreed.
don't show me shit.
Agreed.
I want to see the rooms because, like, again, I wish I could get that Airbnb or VRBO listing because I just want to look at the pictures and I want to remind myself how poor I am that I'll never be able to afford that house in Aspen to rent for even like 4 hours. But it is so nice.
So nice.
After the room picking, this was my least favorite part of the episode, even more so than the room picking.
Okay.
I do not need to see people getting IVs straight up. Needles, no. No thanks.
Also, that was weird. That was weird.
I understand
I guess it's for
why.
the altitude, but like it's
yeah.
just, I don't know, it's just weird. Just do that
How
off
about
camera.
everybody drink an extra water bottle or two?
Yeah,
while we're
put some
on the plane?
electrolytes in your water.
Yeah, get a Gatorade.
Yeah, you'll be
everybody
fine.
being so excited about getting an IV. I know on the last episode, like I talked about how I had to get blood drawn from my hand and I threw a temper tantrum. Like this stuff, you can see my shoulders. Like you can see my shoulders at my headphones right now. That's not like a me being dramatic. Like this is my natural reaction. I was like, I literally wrote in all capital letters, I hate watching IVs and needles. I want to die.
Yeah.
So
but it's not pleasant.
I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see any of that. So thank you for nothing. Bravo. Andy, we're enemies. We get like a little bit of them getting ready and there's a spider. Not important, but we get
Noella's hair.
Oh, I don't care. Whatever. That bitch deserves it. Sorry. I'm just so over her. Ugh. She is just so thirsty for attention, even with like stuff online right now. Like she's like insinuating still that Heather was like violent towards someone and
Okay, well, I have a lot of thoughts about this. So we'll talk about it when we.
Okay. So
because I'm spoiler alert on Team Noella and Shannon.
I'm on Team Shannon.
I'm 100% on Team Shannon.
I'm not on Team Noella.
I'm on Team Anti-Heather.
I'm not as much Team Heather in all this as much as it's like I just can't back Noella in any of it. So it's like by default, I'm like rooting for the referees here. I don't want anybody to win, but I really don't want Noella to win. If someone has to lose. But we get to dinner, right? And so they start off with like, tell us something we don't know. And I think the most important thing that came out of this is that Dr. Jen has been engaged 7 times. That's like the last thing she says in this episode, by the way.
Yeah. Other than that, she just like sits there and looks around. It's like, why is she here? Yeah. Why is she here? And how did she get a full-time role on the show?
Right. Like, how is she not a friend of for at least a season to see like what she brings to this table? I just don't understand. Oh, bye, cat.
Right. Litterbox time.
It's usually my animal being like, I don't even know where he is right now. So, he's out in the hallway. Hey, nice. He's been a little sleepy today. So yeah, 7 times. And then someone the best part of that though was the confessional was like, so
Yes.
what made Ryan stick? And
Also, we're back to Ryan.
Ryan.
No, I
Sorry.
think that they're just calling him Ryan now.
I saw
I
somewhere
don't know.
online
It's
that
hard
she
to
called
tell.
him Ryan
I feel
recently.
like they flip-flop between
It's
Ryan
too
and
much.
Ryan.
Pick a name. Just like let's pick something
Right.
entirely different now. Like let's just
Right.
call him Patrick. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when the producer was like, "So what made Ryan stick?"
And
and
she just started laughing.
she like
She had nothing to
paused.
say.
It's like,
She never answered, right? She just started
no,
laughing.
just started laughing. It's like, all right, I am so confident in this marriage.
Yeah.
I'm
I feel
a
like there's a
believer.
lot to Jen. Like, she's bizarre, but
Hmm.
we're seeing nothing from her. But she is like not a normal person.
No.
No, you can't be a normal person to be on these shows. So, like, what are we not seeing from her? Because that one night that she got drunk at Heather's dinner, like, I was like, oh, we're getting Dr. Jen now. And then it's like, since then, it's been nothing.
Hmm.
But I want to see like the weirdo shit with her. And I feel like we're not getting it.
I just think she's boring as fuck. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like there's got to be something at home that's weird that they
yeah,
could be filming.
there's 7 other fiancés probably like hidden in
Yeah.
her basement or something.
Yeah.
they're
Wild.
they're like plastic surgery practice dolls. Like that's why the first 7 didn't work out. She needed
Yeah.
anywhere to
Yeah.
practice. Like maybe
Yeah.
that's it. Maybe she's like a
Maybe.
serial killer or something. This is a
Ooh.
joke for legal purposes, but
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
accusing her of that. There's
Yes.
got to be something weird. That
Right?
because she's been engaged 7 times, and then she was like, "Yeah, I've sold some of the rings and all this stuff." Like,
I
oh,
can't.
anyway, that's like the last she has. I don't think I
Yeah.
wrote her name at all.
No, I think she just
No,
disappeared after that.
I didn't actually. So bye, Dr. Jen. One less person to talk
Well,
about.
yep.
So then the next thing that happens is Shannon calls Emily a shitster.
Which she is.
Yeah, and Emily admits that. That confessional, I was hoping that was made into a GIF by today so that I could have put it as her GIF when she did I type it out and she's like, well, what am I supposed to do when there's so much shit? Like, how am I not supposed to stir it or whatever it was? Like, she owns that she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And
She does.
She's providing the entertain like Tamara did it much more fluidly, I think.
That's what I was going
and
to say. She's doing her
organically.
best Tamara impression. And I feel like Tamara just came naturally. And Gina, you can tell she's trying very hard.
Emily.
Yes. Who did I say? Gina?
Gina, yeah.
Whatever.
I
They're
mean,
one
Gina's
of
trying very hard in a different aspect of this, but
yeah, she is real hard.
So Shannon calls Emily a shitster, and then Shannon like somewhat addresses Gina about this whole ongoing put a pin in it, but wants to talk about it one-on-one.
Yeah.
Anything you want? I was gonna say, I'm gonna stop here. I feel like I'm teaching one of my math lessons right now where I'll do like 2 steps at a time. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pause for questions. Anybody need to ask any questions?
Let's just keep going. I feel like there's so much to come. Let's just keep going. We'll just keep going.
So the next thing I have is that Heather is upset with Shannon for when she called from the cooking party, not asking Heather how the live podcast went. To which Shannon's response is, I thought me calling was good enough. Like, I thought I was doing a nice thing here. And Heather was kind of like, I was hoping that because of where we're at in our friendship, that you would have like known that I had a live podcast that day and you would have asked about it.
I feel myself getting heated right now. That's what I want to say. I feel myself like my adrenaline is starting to pump and I feel myself getting really ready to tear into Heather Dubrow. We can keep going.
I was going to say, do you want me to keep going?
No, we can keep going. Let's keep going. I don't want to derail. We'll keep going.
I'm going to chime in real quick. Like, I'm Team Shannon here.
Yeah.
And I'll wait for us to come back to it to ask my question, but I am Team Shannon here.
Okay.
So then next we get Shannon upset. She starts crying. She's like, I've got a lot going on. I'm a single mom. I'm trying to run my business. I don't have a nanny. I don't have the help that you guys do. Like, I'm trying my best here. And like she starts crying, gets emotional about it.
Yep.
after that, we get Emily saying that I felt that the phone call to Heather was to kind of like get a sense of where they were at in terms of having fun, because it did feel like it was a competition between who was having more fun. But the thing that upset me the most was that Shannon was talking shit about Gina.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Noella gets involved.
Yeah.
And I didn't write down what Noella said, probably just because I was like so.
I think she said something like, "You're taking way too many bullets for this," to Shannon.
She said that, and I also think she said something about Gina at the same, or as well.
Maybe.
I think because those two were going at it a bit.
Yeah.
So we definitely had like Noella defending Shannon, and we had Noella and Gina. And then because Noella had made a comment like, "You guys are saying hurtful things to her, like calm down." And that's when Heather's like, "Oh, and you don't say hurtful things, Noella? You said that I slammed someone against the wall." And so Heather keeps pushing this, saying like, "Tell me what you saw. Like, this is what you said. You said this to me. You said it the next day." And then Noella admits that she didn't actually see it happen, although this has been like the backbone of her. Like, I saw Heather push someone.
Yeah.
To which that's when, like, I feel like shit was bubbling, but this is where the pot boils over right here, is when Noella's like, "Okay, well, actually, I just heard it from like a really good source. But me and Emily talked about it the next day. We compared notes. We both heard the same thing." To which Emily was like, "Keep my fucking name out your mouth. Like, I did not hear this.
Yeah.
We did not compare notes." Do you believe Emily?
No. I don't believe Emily. No.
I don't believe Emily in that. No. I just think she knows better than.
Yeah. I don't believe her at all. Even I don't even 1%. I don't believe her. I think Noella's telling the truth.
I do think Noella is telling the truth about that. But I do think it is up to Emily to choose if she believes that Heather did that. Whether or not it gets to that, whatever. But I do 100% believe that Noella and Emily talked the next day, and they both talked to the same person who told them the same thing.
So here's where I'll say, before I go into my full feelings about this dinner, because I'm just about to go off the rails if I start talking about it.
That's what I want. Let's remove the rails.
Oh, I will. But what I want to say is that I took one for the team at 2:00 in the morning, and I watched Kelly Dodd's YouTube channel because she put on Twitter that she had text messages that proved that Emily is a liar and that she knew about what happened. So then I saw on Reddit that she exposed the text messages on her YouTube channel. So I was like, I guess I'm going to have to do this, right? I was laying in bed. I wasn't tired. So I was like, all right, I'm about to. And I'm sorry to my YouTube algorithm. I'm sorry for all the anti-mask right-wing stuff that's about to come. I know it. I should have gone in incognito or signed out or something. But I wasn't thinking. I was on my phone. Anyway, so she and her husband apparently have a YouTube show where they recap these episodes. And I'm about to say something that I know I'm going to regret. But I wouldn't be mad if Kelly Dodd came back to the show. And the reason I say this, the reason I say it, and I have a reason, is because my reason is she is friends with Shannon now. All she did was say positive things about Shannon. She's friends with Tamara and she's friends with Vicky. So what I've been saying this whole time is that we don't have women that are friends on this show. And she has natural conflict with Heather. So bring her back on, bring Tamara back, bring Vicky, bring the whole crew back, and let's just get into it. The show sucks, and they have actual relationships. She introduced Vicky to her new boyfriend. She talks to Tamara all the time. She talks to Heather all the time. I mean, she talks to Shannon all the time. Shannon and Tamara don't get along, but she's fine with Vicky. Like, imagine the conflict that we would have with these women all back on the same show. It would actually be interesting to watch their actual relationships. I know I'm going to regret it. Kelly Dodd is a full-on monster. So is Vicky Gumbelson. But you know what? I would watch them. Bring them all back. It's what I'm saying. I'm going to regret it. I know it. She's a monster. She doesn't deserve the money or the platform. But people listen to her anyway. We know that she's trash. Let's just let bygones be bygones. Let her be trash in the corner. But let's also like watch her on TV at the same time. But that's not what I wanted to say. I mean, I wanted to say that. I'll let you react. You look horrified.
If you had said, Kari, write a list of 10 things you think
I
you're going
know.
to hear Katie say
I'm
on
gonna
this
regret it. She's
podcast
an awful
today,
person. She's a monster. I was just,
it wouldn't have made the first 100, much less the first 10.
I know. I
And
never
then
thought I would feel this way.
if it
I never
wasn't
thought I
for
would feel
this
this way.
oversized beanbag next to me, I would be on the floor because I literally fell over.
Listen, I'm
when you
surprising
said
myself that I'm admitting this publicly. But
My
the only reason I
tyranny
say this
handlebars for this, like, for this podcast, because I am shocked.
Yeah.
I
Well,
understand
listen.
your reasoning. No. Everything
Yeah.
you said, like, I have nothing to disagree with or add on to that, because I think
I'm not proud.
The only thing that the only reason I don't think it would happen is because I think, like, Heather won't film with Kelly Dodd. Like,
And this is the thing with Heather that I don't want to get into the Heather of it yet, because I have that's part of something I have to say about Heather. But the thing that Kelly Dodd said on her podcast, and she apparently is also still in contact with production. She's in contact with Shannon. So she seems to have some dirt on what happened at this party. But she does say, I wasn't there. I don't know. Allegedly, what happened was Heather we saw her put the hand on the camera, and allegedly she pushed people out of the way, and probably the weight of the camera made somebody hit a wall, right? Because those are heavy cameras. So the probably like the momentum of just being like kind of like lightly shoved, and then the camera top heavy hit a wall. It was a producer that was pushed against the wall. She named the producer, who it was, allegedly named the producer. Nobody saw it. There was no housewife there that saw it. The producer told Noella. So that's why Noella is saying, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but she spoke to the actual producer. And that's why she can't say who said it, because it's a producer and they can't break the fourth wall. But apparently it was a producer. And now there's stories out there online that Terry spit in a producer's face that night.
I saw that. I don't know if I believe that.
I don't know if I believe that either.
Terry has enough money to deal with shit.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe that. I believe the Heather pushing. I don't believe that necessarily the Terry spitting in someone's face. That's like over the top. But the rumor is that Nicole didn't drop the lawsuit, that they settled for a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Supposedly. I don't know. The whole thing is strange. But what she was saying that, and then she also showed text messages from Emily that night, which didn't really say that much, honestly. But Emily was heavily talking shit about Heather, saying that like she was screaming and blah blah. And Kelly showed her side of the conversation, was like, yeah, she treats producers badly. She's saying this is what she is. She only does things on her terms. And then she said, oh, I didn't know that we could shut things down, and we didn't want to film them. Emily. So she was saying a lot of negative things about Heather to Emily, to Kelly. So that's kind of why I'm like, I believe that this situation happened with Noella after the fact, and that maybe they talked about potentially exposing Heather. But I think Emily, my theory now, not Kelly's, is so loyal to Gina and saw how far up Heather's ass Gina is that she dropped it. And she was like, I'm going to choose to be on this side and not on the Shannon Noella side. That's what I think probably happened after the fact. She saw where like these lines were being drawn, and that she decided to side with Heather.
I also don't think that like Heather and Emily really have like a negative relationship by any means. Like this event happened
before they were like
within
close.
like a day or two
of them meeting.
Yeah. So I could also see keeping my mouth shut, because it's like, let me hold this let me hold this one close. And if I need to play this card, I will. And she hasn't had a reason to have to play this card against Heather.
Right.
Because Emily, above anything else, is smart. Like
she is smart. But I think she's a little too transparent with how she kind of plays her games a little. Like, whereas we talked about Tamara being very natural.
Yeah.
I mean, in these days, Tamara's been very like vocal on social media and has been a little transparent about trying to get back on the show. But normally when she's on the show, she's pretty, it's obvious sometimes, but she's more smooth than Emily is.
I think your cat is back.
Yes.
So. I am. Yeah, I mean, I believe that Noella and Emily compared notes. If there's anything about Kelly Dodd, is that she's like too honest, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
especially about what she believes to be true.
Right.
And that might be like the murky part for me, is that I just
Yeah.
don't know. I could see her easily believing something because it's good for her to believe it. And
That's
maybe
fair.
it skips over some important parts of truth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could see Heather Dubrow kind of like, you know, putting up a stiff arm to kind
Yeah.
of like get
Yeah.
out of the way. I'm done with this. I can't see Heather Dubrow going and being like
No. No, and I
full
think,
two-hand
from Kelly
shove.
Dodd's perspective, she agrees. She's like, I don't think she intentionally shoved someone against a wall. I think she
Yeah.
pushed someone out of the way. It was an act. Like, I don't think that was her intention. And, she hates Heather. So I think
Yeah.
if she did think that, she would have said it.
Right.
So it seems like it was probably an accident, but maybe happened. And it does seem like Kelly was told by the producer that it allegedly happened to. She didn't
Yeah.
say that, but she grossly
Implied
alluded
it.
to it.
Yeah. I mean,
So that was my homework this weekend, or whenever I watched it. I think Friday night I delved into the depths, and I'm not proud of how I came out. I'm not proud of it. I'm going to be
I'm
honest. But as soon as I heard Kelly talking about how much she loves Shannon and is friends with her, now she talks to Tamara all the time, and I know from other things that she introduced Vicky to her current boyfriend, I'm like, so these women are all friends now. Just get them on the show. Get them on. We need friendships, and we need real relationships, and we need
yeah.
real stories. We don't need this fabricated nonsense of people who don't even like each other.
Yeah, I think the
We
one.
can still hate her if she's on the show. We can still hate her. I will still hate her. I'm not going to like her.
Yeah. I just can't see Heather sticking around if Kelly comes back, I think.
No. And this is the thing with Heather now that bothers me. Heather needs to be in control of every single thing at all times. And this is why she's a bad housewife. She only wants to be around people that she can control.
Mhm.
And the fact that she can't even be, and this is why I'm 100% on Noella's side. The fact that Noella's presence makes Heather uncomfortable and wants her to leave when she doesn't really do anything. I mean, she's annoying, but
Mhm.
what's she really doing that's so bad to Heather? Heather's the one at dinner who brought this up. Noella
Mhm.
didn't bring it up. Heather brought it up. So you're
Mhm.
so upset about it. Then why are you bringing it back up on camera? Noella brought it up one time on camera. Episodes, weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's not like that's
true.
been the storyline throughout the show. It's like Heather, she just like, when she loses control, she gets like this evil, like her evil side comes out, and like
Mhm.
she cannot hold it together. And that's what bothers me. It's like, in order to be a good housewife, you need to be able to roll with the punches. You can't just have your way all of the time. It's not the Heather Dubrow show. It's the Real Housewives of Orange County. And like the fact that she has to storm off and then say, if I call Terry, he'll have the jet here in the morning.
Mhm.
Like, you're gonna call your little fucking dad and
Mhm.
your rich daddy and have him send the jet. It's just like, just gross to me, and just she makes me actually sick to my stomach. And what they're doing to Shannon is so not fair to, and it really feels like they all got together and said, we're gonna go for Shannon this season. This
Mhm.
is the plan. We're going for Shannon. Emily and Gina have this weird thing where Shannon lives rent-free in their head, and they just hate her for some reason. And Shannon is making an effort. Shannon has no friends on this show. So she
Yeah.
has no chance or no choice other than to make a relationship with Emily and Gina. And Emily acts like she's her best friend one second and then goes and spills to Gina the next second. And then they make it all this big, stupid thing. And I really truly believe that Shannon is like, what are you talking? Like, literally, what are you talking about? It was a funny joke to make a competition. Shannon is fun, Shannon. She always makes these stupid little things. Like, why are we taking this so seriously?
Mhm.
Why? Why are we taking it so seriously? Why are you so upset that Shannon called you and didn't specifically play out the scenario that you put together
Yeah.
in your head, and now you guys are attacking her for it? Why?
My question about that specific scenario is like, is there more to how Heather and Shannon's friendship has evolved this season that we haven't seen? Because Heather makes it seem like me and Shannon are friends. Like, she
Yeah.
should be calling and asking me how that went, and she should know.
I don't
And
see them friends.
I
I
haven't
don't see
seen
it.
that happen on screen.
No.
So that's why there's a disconnect there for me, that I'm wondering either A is like Heather just really like putting more eggs in that friendship basket than
Right.
Shannon is, or has something happened, that have events happen, have lunches that like we haven't seen because there hasn't been anything that's like worth seeing, that has evolved this friendship to the point where it is justified that Heather thinks she should be calling. I don't know what is the truth. There was just something that I'm like,
Right.
you guys don't like it. I could understand if it was Gina's live podcast and Emily didn't call. That I'd be like, okay,
That would make sense.
all right, that I got that. Like, I think that they have that actual genuine friendship versus like Shannon and Heather don't appear to be at that level for me.
No, me neither. And I know that they have history, but it's very tumultuous history.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon even talks about how Heather just holds her to a different standard than she holds
Mm-hmm.
other people. We saw the flashback to the rodeo or whatever,
Yeah.
where she literally walked in with Vicky to a party with a bunch of, I don't know about you. I'm late to big parties like that all the time. I don't want to be the first person in the door. I don't want to be there when a big party starts. Like, let me show up
I
half an
just
hour
don't want to be at
later.
a big party. The likelihood of me
Me
showing up
neither.
is minimal
And
at best.
especially not like the first one there. And they
Mhm.
had just met at that point. It was just, that was weird. And it's still weird to this day. When you flash back to it, what is she mad about? Why would you wait for this person that you don't even
Mhm.
know to talk about your house? Groundbreaking. Like, who? Oh my God, this woman is like,
Oh,
ugh.
no, it's very
Ugh.
evident why she waited at that point for her is because David had money, right? That was
Yeah,
Shannon's
David did have
Shannon.
money.
So like
Hmm.
she
Hmm.
wants Shannon and David to see
Yeah.
this is what we're doing. So
Yeah.
that's 100% why she
Right.
waited.
Right.
Then
Yes.
it
Definitely.
wasn't for any sort of like I'm waiting for my best friend to show up.
No.
Like it wasn't
No.
that at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I just feel like, and the reason why I'm on Team Noella here is because if we didn't have Noella, Shannon would be alone on an island. And honestly, watching Housewives get ganged up on in any season, whether I like them or not, it's just not good TV. It's just
mhm.
like when everybody just becomes like a mean girl against one housewife, especially when Shannon didn't do anything this season to make that happen. It just feels like that was the plot from the beginning. She
Mhm.
said this one thing about Nicole and said, I think that she told me a long time ago that she was suing Terry DeBro. It's like weird that Heather and her are friends. Probably all that happened over a drink. Didn't even happen on camera. Gina took it and it's like it just felt like they had this plot from the beginning to take the Bedores down, as was said in the past season. They want to take down the Bedores. She's not really a Bedore anymore. She's a Storm's Bedore. But it just feels like that's the goal again this season. And if she didn't have Noella, who seems to be an actual friend to Shannon at this point, she would just be out there on an island on her own. So at least Noella has been consistent and has been like standing up for Shannon throughout some of these things, because what's happening here is just making no sense.
I can agree that that is a positive about Noella. I just can't name another one.
What I'll say is I don't find Noella to be necessarily a liar. I think she's out there, but we haven't really caught her in a lie. Other than like even in this episode, she says, "Well, I saw it," and then she'll just be like, "Well, I didn't see it." But it's like, yeah, she admitted. Maybe she should have just said, "I saw it" or something. I don't know. Maybe she shouldn't have admitted that she didn't say that. But she did admit that she kind of like fabricated it. So I don't know. She seems like a little trustworthy to me in a way, and I really enjoy how she can get under Heather's skin. Like it's giving me kind of life that she can get under Heather's skin the way that she does, barely even trying.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Again, not from like a defending Heather perspective, but maybe it's like in trying to put myself in Heather's situation. Here's why I think that there is at least justification for Heather to be annoyed is that in what has happened, I do think that Heather has remained consistent in why Noella bothers her so much. Where there have been times where Noella has escalated things to points they don't need to be escalated to. For example, like trying to say that Heather doesn't support LGBTQIA and whatever other like remarks she didn't like call Heather racist, but she definitely like implied that you like look at me differently because I am like of this community and I'm biracial, where like escalating it insults to that level with no justification. I don't know if I would give Noella my best like my best self after that as well. I guess like I think I would be much quicker to jump to being like shut the fuck up than maybe someone else who didn't imply that. And so because I don't think there was ever really resolved from that. I don't think that anything between Noella and Heather that's happened this season has ever had any sort of resolution. So I can understand why Heather, her tolerance is just minimal at best. Is it also because she can't control Noella? Absolutely, 100%. But there's been these building blocks to where if I was Heather, I would also probably have like a visceral reaction to her being in the same room as me. But I'm also super dramatic about stuff like that. Like, there's a coworker who is no longer my coworker that literally every time we were in the same room, like, I just had to get out. I couldn't deal with this.
No, I have been there.
So
I've been there.
I can understand why Heather's reactions are the way they are, where I do think that like Heather's reasoning for her dislike of Noella, at least she believes to be consistent and like fair. And I think there's been times where Noella purposefully is trying to go a little bit deeper, taking like a little bit more of a jab than she needs to. So I can understand it. I'm at the point though where I don't need this argument anymore. Like, it has been going all season. We're not getting any resolution. The fact that they can't coexist in a room together without it escalating to something, like, I would have rather seen this focus more on Shannon's perspective and like them calling out Emily for stirring the pot. I would have rather maybe seen more of that than just like, oh, here's, of course, Noelle and Heather arguing again. Like, the sky is blue, the grass is green.
Right.
They can't fucking stand each other. So, I'm not exactly defending Heather. I guess I can just kind of like see why she's at that point.
The thing that I don't like about Heather, one of the many things I don't like about Heather, is that when she feels like she's out of control or gets pushed, quote unquote pushed, because I think she pushes herself a lot of the time, especially, and again, I hate to keep going back to this like issue with Shannon, but she did it with Kelly when she didn't like Kelly. And this is not me defending Kelly on the show, because I think she's had a couple of good seasons, but overall she is a monster. Even though I'm saying she should be back, we should still hate her if she's back on the show. And in life, we should hate her. But what I don't like about Heather is that she goes to this place of being so disgusting and demeaning to people. Like when she was mad at Shannon when she said she were scary angry for coming out of the bathroom, which Shannon referred to in last week's episode, when she said she was walking through a restaurant screaming, when that's not what happened. When she was at, I think was it Lizzie? I don't even know, party. And she was like, does she need an ambulance? Should we call an ambulance? Like, you're a fucking asshole for saying things like that. That makes you an asshole. And she gaslights people. And I don't like when people overuse the term gaslighting, but she really does gaslight these people around her to try and make those other people feel like they're crazy for actions that they didn't do. There are things that Heather says that people just don't do. And like what she did to Shannon at dinner, I feel like is even some form of gaslighting of being like, well, I wanted you to call me and ask me how my podcast went because I thought that we were at such a good friendship. Shannon didn't do anything wrong. And she's trying to twist the situation and make it seem like she did something that was so bad that it has to cause this huge feud when that's not what happened. And then for her to say things to like Noella, I'm thinking back to like the bus ride back from Ireland to the airport in Ireland where she was saying just disgusting things to Kelly, which again, I'm not on Kelly's side. I was on Kelly's side in that bus because that was just really, again, I don't like it when all the people gang up on one housewife. It doesn't make for good TV. But what she said to Noella about her karma, she's getting everything she deserved because of her karma. You are actually a pig because that is just, her father literally just died. Her husband left her. She has supposedly no access to his money, which I don't understand how she's surviving if she has no access to money, but whatever. It's just like, what would possess you to say something so vile to someone who's going through so much, whether we like Noella or not? Like, that's over the line. And you should be able to control yourself in an argument with somebody to the point where you don't say something as that disgusting.
Yeah, I think Heather more than most like has shown that she has the ability to use her words well, and so she made a choice by saying that. She knew what she was doing. Yeah,
and I personally, the reason why I believe what Noella heard, saw, was told, whatever, and same with Emily, I believe that Noella was telling the truth about Emily. We know Heather does not hesitate to threaten a lawsuit. And if it was being alleged that Heather physically assaulted somebody and it wasn't true, why would she threaten Shannon and say, I'll take down your family or whatever? I mean, like, what the fuck is wrong with her? First of all,
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. But it's just like, obviously, she just didn't have that same reaction. And this is a pretty serious allegation. So I think if it weren't true, this would be one time where it would be warranted. Where like, if you bring this up again, like, we're gonna have a serious legal issue here, because you're slandering me. She didn't do that. So that's kind of why I'm like, well, we know that this is her MO. She would threaten to sue anybody, and she's not threatening to sue this person that she so clearly hates and can't stand. So.
That's true. I didn't think of that. So much. So
she's just. And then I think what she did to Shannon when they got back to the house.
Yeah, I have that coming up.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get there.
We have the main source of all series drama, the Sprinter van. You know,
MVP of all Real Housewives is the Sprinter van.
So we have. It was kind of weird how they like cut off the sound from the back seat for us to focus on the sound in the front seat. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that was strange.
Because I like was more interested in what was going on in the back seat, and we weren't able to hear it. So first we have like Heather going off on Noella, still asking for an apology.
I will say at this point, not to cut you off, when Noella gets in and she's like, "Sorry for making it awkward," I'm like, "Good for you for letting this roll off your shoulders," because you just got like verbally attacked from 85 different areas. And I have more to say about Gina too. We didn't even get there, but whatever. I just have so much. So you didn't
see that as like instigating? Because I felt like that was instigating, her saying that.
No, I thought she was trying to cut the tension. That's what I thought.
I felt like she was instigating.
Oh, I didn't take it that way at all.
Because I feel like if maybe she was letting it roll off her shoulders, then you just don't say anything at all.
I think she was trying to just get everybody to be like, and then like, you know, bring it back down. That's what I took it as, but I could see it as potentially.
I just don't think that she has the ability to de-escalate the group. I think she can maybe de-escalate Shannon. So for her to get in and be like, "My bad, guys," like, was it? I don't know. That's how I took it, and so I think it's interesting that we both like saw that.
No, I took it the totally opposite way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it ended up in how it did. We also have Shannon versus Gina and Emily, and we have Shannon asking Emily if she's ever apologized to John, which was like a throwback to Emily once saying that like John had to like call his dad to like pick him up from the golf course because he was so drunk or something. And Shannon's like, he doesn't even golf and he hasn't talked to his dad in 30 years, which is a lot of misinformation to be saying out loud then.
Well, yeah, and I really didn't watch much of last season because it was a train wreck. So I think I watched the reunion and maybe like 1 or 2 episodes here and there. So I don't really know what happened with that. But we did get John saying this year that he doesn't talk to his dad. And he had a whole big story about how he doesn't talk to his dad. And I do think Emily just takes things and runs with them. So who knows? I'm on Team Shannon.
Yeah, I think that apology could easily like diffuse that situation.
Sure.
Emily said something like, "Well, don't even start there," but then like it didn't, like she didn't have anything to say after. And then you have Noella saying like, "Oh, I hate that this is like so dramatic and it's only day 1," and Emily was just like, "Stop that bullshit." Like,
yeah.
I think we can just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's things to say, but it's nothing that we haven't said already. Shannon said something along the lines of like, "You do the same shit too." Heather said, "Shut up, Noella." Gina is laughing and Shannon's like, "No, I'm crying." So like Gina's laughing at all this, I think in kind of like a, oh my God, like this bullshit type of way. Shannon's upset that like everybody hates each other. Heather's telling Noelle to shut up. And while calling out Emily, it's a mess. It's a fucking mess in there.
It is a mess. And I think it all kind of does go back to like, so at the dinner, there's a point where Noella says to Gina, "I'm standing up for Shannon," or "I'm sticking up for Shannon," or whatever. "I'm trying to be there for my friend." And she's like, "Why aren't you there for me?" And it's like, not everything is about you, Gina.
Right.
Actually, no one gives a fuck about you. So stop trying to make it about you. Because honestly, you shouldn't even be on the show. I saw somebody on Reddit say that she's like middle class Long Island. She would be like if I were on the show. I have no need or no reason to be on a Real Housewives show. Neither does Gina. I could run into Gina on the street. We probably have very similar amount of money, which is not a lot. We probably make a similar amount of money, which is not very much. And like, I don't think I should be on a housewife show. my apartment is probably the same square foot as her house. And like this show is supposed to be aspirational. And you could tell she just wants to crawl so far up Heather's ass that like she just wants to be like Heather. And it's just not everything is about you. Not everything is about you. Let her stand up for her friend Shannon. How about that? She doesn't have to stand up for you because you're all attacking Shannon. And I felt like she was laughing in the car almost because like I think she thinks it's funny that Heather is yelling at Noella that way. I think she thinks the whole thing is kind of funny. Maybe it was like a little bit of an awkward laugh, but I do feel like Gina is finding humor in all of this because she's like at the top of the food chain in her mind with Heather. And that's why I think she thinks it's funny.
Hammered at this point. Her and Emily, the way they were like so closely like in each other's faces and talking.
Do you think it's real or do you think they were faking it?
I mean, I think Emily drinks a lot on the show.
Yeah.
And so also I think
Emily,
they are in Aspen. Real. The altitude
that's true.
Definitely like fucks you up a lot easier.
That's true.
So that could also be it. And I think that might be why we reached like a level of even like Heather, it was a bit sloppier than
unhinged
she ever allows herself to be on TV. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if like the altitude had something to do with that as well.
Yeah. I do think Shannon was just genuinely like, you're really laughing at this, right? Like you think this is funny, because I think it's just a poor display from I think all of them. And again, except for Shannon, I don't think Shannon did anything wrong. I think she was just defending herself. I don't think she was outwardly attacking anybody like the other people were. It's just like a pretty like gross dinner situation that took place. So I think she was like genuinely upset that Gina was laughing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that I think Shannon is in the best way, like very caught up in herself right now. In terms of like, she does have all this shit that she needs to handle that the others like might have their different resources for handling, except maybe Gina. But
Gina did nothing.
Yeah, I do think that like Shannon is genuine when she's saying that she's trying her best.
Yeah.
I felt for her in that. We get to the house, and the first thing, and I think this is what you were bringing up earlier, was that Heather kind of pulls Shannon aside, but then like other people come up, and she says to Shannon, like, I feel that no one is standing up for me, which I don't understand why Heather isn't just saying like, Shannon, I don't think that you're standing up for me, because everyone else is kind of standing up for Heather.
Literally everybody is standing up for Heather. Literally everybody. So what are you talking about?
No, she just didn't want to single Shannon out, but also wanted to.
But she's singling Shannon out. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, wasn't she like touching her hair and like trying to? I'm just like, ugh, you make me actually sick. Like you are twisted. You are a twisted person for what you're doing right now. And it's just like, why do you need Shannon to stand up for you? What is this game that you have to play with Shannon at all times? You are the one that is doing Shannon wrong. You and Gina and Emily are treating Shannon like total crap. Jen is just there as background furniture, and Noella is the only one standing up for Shannon. So God forbid, why would Shannon stand up? And to be fair, I don't think Shannon wasn't standing up for Heather. I think she was saying, why would you say that if you didn't see it? What are you saying that Emily? They were trying to get more information out of Noella. Shannon included. She wasn't like, no, Noella, I'm on Noella's side. She was just trying to be more level-headed, it seemed like, through that, to be like, what are you talking about? What are you saying Emily did? What are you saying? Why would you say that?
Well, I think Shannon had a good point, which came up like right after this, was that Heather said, like, if someone is saying something about you, my friend, that isn't true, then I should be negating it. And it should be the opposite. Like, if it were the vice versa, the same thing should be happening. Like, someone's saying something about me that isn't true, then you as my friend should be negating it. And it doesn't feel like you're doing that with Noella. Like, why are you like still on Noella's side or whatever? And Shannon said, like, I'm trying to have rational conversations with Noella,
right?
Because it does seem like that Noella really only listens to Shannon.
Yeah.
Everyone else, like, she still takes jabs at Dr. Jen, like, even though Dr. Jen is literally just
barely
like
there,
an American Girl doll sitting in the corner,
taking up air.
Yeah, like, I don't know why you're wasting your breath with that.
Yeah.
So I do understand in a way that, like, I think Shannon is trying to be everyone's friend to an extent, and it's just, I don't know, would you even put up with this bullshit if it wasn't if you weren't being paid for a TV show? Like, would you
No.
try to be getting Noella to stop having whatever negative interactions with Heather, and would you be trying to get Heather to tolerate Noelle? Like, you wouldn't. And so like
No.
Shannon's in this place of like trying to be peacekeeper in a place that there's no reason for peace to be kept.
Yeah. I think realistically, I'm thinking about picturing myself in the situation. I'd probably be Dr. Jen. I know we're saying she's not doing anything, but I would not
Yeah.
be giving
Be
my
like,
2
"You
cents to any of
bitches."
these
Yeah.
fucking assholes. Yeah, I'd be like, I'm just gonna have a glass of wine and sit here. Maybe I would go to my room.
I'm gonna write about my 7 engagements.
Yeah.
Did you hear what? I think it was Heather was like, "You're like Ariana Grande with 7 rings." Like,
Oh
shut up,
my
Heather.
God.
Yeah, I think Shannon's in a tough spot because like I also think that she feels like Shannon is. I mean, that Noella's like her closest ally right now. But
She
then
is.
maybe
She
Heather
is.
feels like they're supposed to be closer. I really want that explained more. I wish we had better
Shannon,
understanding.
Heather holds Shannon to an impossible standard.
Yeah.
Impossible standard. And it just makes it, she just wants to have or feel like she can have this control. It feels like when Shannon first came on the show, it was like sort of a competition to kind of your point earlier. Like David had money, similar money to Terry. It seemed like they had a really big house, similar. And it almost felt like forever it was like supposed to be this competition between the two of them, even though they're very different people, very different people. And it just feels like, I don't know, is that a competition in Heather's mind still, or does she just feel like she's above Shannon and should be able to control Shannon more than she's able to? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think alcohol helped this conversation at all,
No.
but it's just I would love my ideal next episode is after whatever conversation that won't accomplish anything between Heather and Noella happens is that Heather and Shannon sit down and they just kind of like figure out, they get on the same page because they're clearly not on the same page. And
No.
I think that's what's like the biggest issue between the two of them is this whatever miscommunication or lack of communication is happening. But we do get Shannon like coaching Noella through an apology. She's like, all you have to do is say like, I said something that I heard off of hearsay that I said that I saw. I am apologizing for what I said. Which I think is true. Although the funniest part of this to me was Heather being like, she needs to admit it and apologize. I will forget it if she.
No, you won't, Heather.
Yeah,
no, you won't. No, you won't.
Bring up shit from like however long. No, you won't. Like that is
you will not ever.
Face lie. When she said that,
you were literally ready to call your husband and tell him to get the private jet down here so you could leave in the morning. There's no way all it would take was an I'm sorry to move on. There's no way.
I literally typed in all capital letters. Will you? With like a bunch of questions.
Will you? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Absolutely not. This is where we got the Emily confessional. She's like, if there wasn't so much shit, I wouldn't have anything to stir.
It's really not that much shit though.
She's doing what she can, like, to be fair.
Yeah.
She's got the loose lips and she's sinking ships this season.
Yeah, she really is.
But the ships are more like rowboats. Like, that's all. So we get Noelle and Shannon talking about the apology, and Noelle's like, okay, I can do that. And Noelle is like, Heather, I'd like to talk to you now. Heather says no, and then she's like, you know what? Let's do it.
She's like on another level of like being a monster at this point. So if I were Noella, I'd be like, actually, let's just talk in the morning when things like calm down.
Yeah, I mean, I think Heather is hammered. So
I think so too.
But that's where the episode ends. So we had a lot happen there. We had the revelation that Katie wants Kelly back on the show.
I know. I'm not proud of it. But I'm going to stand by it.
I listen.
We need a good villain.
Yeah, we do. We don't have a great villain right now. We have
No, I mean, it's Heather, but she's like, it's just hard for me to watch Heather on the show.
So saying she's not even my villain. I think Noelle is my villain, but Noelle just annoys me. I wish I liked her.
I don't mind her. I don't like her. I'm neutral.
Shannon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm neutral on Noella.
Yeah.
By default, I have to be on her side, but overall, as a person, I'm neutral on her. I don't like her. I don't dislike her. I think she's decent for the show.
Nice Nitro has to get his word in.
I understand. Nitro doesn't like Noelle either.
Yeah, I mean, we do watch it together.
Yeah.
Watching Housewives is one of my dog's favorite things to do. Not even joking.
I believe it.
All right, so next week we're going to have the conversation between Heather and Noella, and then we'll see where Aspen goes from there, because, yes, this was only day one. Will Terry have a jet waiting for Heather? Who knows? Who knows? But at least it's picked up a little bit.
It has.
More interesting to watch than probably all the rest of the episodes this season. So
1,000%. 1,000%. And it feels like this season has been going on for quite a while. So it's sad that because this is close to the end, I think. Usually they do the trip at the end and then there's like 1 or 2 episodes after that and it's over.
This might have been like episode 16-ish, I think, but I could be very
Yeah, so we probably only have like 1 more trip episode, and then I hope it's only 1 more trip episode. If they drag this out for 3 episodes,
there's a chance. I think there's a solid chance. We still have to see.
There is a chance.
Ryan and Dr. Jen get divorced, so.
Oh yeah, I don't think they are divorced.
Oh, okay.
Because she was on Watch What Happens Live with Gina,
mm-hmm.
and Andy was asking her questions about him, and it seemed like they were still together. I don't think she confirmed or denied, but it did seem like they were still together.
Okay.
She said Heather helped her marriage. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure she did. Oh, Heather's so great.
I mean, Dr. Jen is definitely a Heather defender. That's for sure.
They all you can tell. And it sounded like what they had said about the reunion is that Shannon was very upset and angry. Understandable, especially probably after watching back and seeing everything that Gina was doing. Emily, oh my God, I can't keep these two straight. You know what it is? Emily looks like a Gina to me, and Gina looks like an Emily to me.
Oh, that's funny.
They look like their names should be swapped.
Okay. I can see that. I had to think about it for a second, but I could see that.
Yeah. I can't get them. I just can't keep them straight. 5 seasons, 4 seasons, whatever, however many they amount. I still don't know their names.
Well, regardless, I think that the next episode has some potential, because we do see them. We saw a preview of them like shopping and stuff, and like shit was going down then. But it seems like it's the same shit though. I wouldn't mind some new shit. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But thank you, OC, for picking it up a little bit. Is it great?
Finally.
No, but I at least wasn't like, how do I still have 24 minutes left of this show? And then looking 2 minutes later and being like, 10 minutes hasn't passed yet. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. This was a week. It was a week.
We have a ton more coming up, like we talked about at the beginning. So soon we will get into Atlanta's the one that comes back next, right? When does
May
Beverly
1st.
When does Beverly Hills come back?
I believe mid-May. I think the trailer comes out in a couple of days.
Okay.
We did get the Atlanta trailer. Looks good. I'm ready for Sheree. It looks like Candy's getting in the mix this season.
Yeah. I tweeted, I'm like, people like Marlo, and you're a Marlo fan. But I mean, it kind of makes sense with like who you tend to like for Housewives.
Yes. Yeah.
I think she's like mean. Like
she's mean. She's not my favorite, but I do like her. I think she's overdue to be a housewife. She makes me laugh.
Like so much of her shit has been like in desperate attempts for her to become a housewife. You know what I mean? That like good on you for finally getting it, I guess. But I don't know. When she told Kenya that like not even your mom loves you, that was where like Marlo lost me.
That's
like
not
completely.
Nice. Yeah.
Because we were like, well, Kenya's not the nice. Like Kenya doesn't take shots like that. Like that's a
no. No, I prefer Kenya to Marlo for sure.
I like Kenya a lot. And she's back this season. So we've got Kenya, Marlo. They're like the two in the center. Candy, my girl. No Portia, I saw. No Cynthia.
No Portia.
Who else is there?
My girl Sheree.
Oh, Sheree, right?
I love Sheree. So I'm very excited. I love her.
And then, is it 2 others that haven't been on the show yet?
Drew was on last season.
Okay, so I haven't seen that season.
Not sure why she got a second season. I mean, I was in and out last season, to be completely honest. I found it a little boring. And then a new housewife who I believe is an Olympian, but I don't know her name.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I forget her name too. So I'm excited for that.
The trailer looks great, and I'll say, I didn't realize until 20 minutes after watching the trailer that Cynthia was not there and Portia's not there. So I was like, well, this is a good sign for me because I think this cast seems really solid. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I did.
We got an Apollo sighting.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, of course Sheree is filming with Apollo. Of course. This is why Sheree is so amazing.
That was actually what made me watch the trailer, was someone tweeted like, Sheree is...
I could not believe. It looks like it's going to be good. And I'm excited to see Candy in some drama. I feel like it's been a couple of seasons since Candy like really gets in the mix. And it seems like her and Marlo are going to be at odds this season.
I can see why Candy doesn't put up with Marlo, or like is frustrated with Marlo.
No, I would be probably on Candy. I mean, I don't know the situation, but I prefer Candy to Marlo as well. I find Marlo very entertaining. She's not my favorite, but she does make me laugh. And I'm glad that we get more of her because I think she's a good, solid contributor.
She knows what she's doing in terms of like what she says and the ramifications of what she says. Like she knows how to bring drama for a housewife. Like I will give her that. It's just she crosses a level of mean that I don't think needs to be crossed as often as she does. I think she could still accomplish what she wants to with like a degree less of intensity, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I've been reading a little bit about Beverly Hills in terms of like lines are like redrawn in the sand, and so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that nets out.
But we've got so much coming up, so much. My Atlanta comment right now is that okay, so I just finished the season where like Greg is like pretty sick throughout it, and like when Nini's personal life isn't going well, Nini is not my favorite. Like I don't enjoy watching her on TV. She does not handle like inner chaos well. She creates like she just projects a lot. So this was like a bad Nini season for me, but like the amount of drama that ensued just because like Kenya shows up to this this party
in the finale,
and Cynthia and Candy kind of like collaborated on making it happening like behind closed doors, all over the fact that like someone basically asked a politer version of Kill, Marry, Fuck to Kenya in her Instagram stories. Like it was like call, text, delete Andy, Portia, and Nini, and she deleted Nini, and that just sent
they don't like each other
on a fucking tangent in every way, shape, or form about her. And it's like, listen, I've been killed in plenty Kill, Marry, Fuck games. Like,
kill me anytime you want. Listen, anybody has a free reign to just kill me in any game they need to. It's fine. I will not take it personally. I'd probably kill you too. So whoever, just a general you. So don't worry about it.
I just thought that was like so, I don't know. Like, I have, in terms of watching Nini, it's hard because like there's seasons where I'm like, this is the best. Like, great, thank you. I appreciate what you're bringing. And then there's seasons like this one where it's like, you really should have chosen to not be on television right now.
Yes.
Like, you are clearly going through way too much. And like the mess you're causing is not the fun mess. Like the mess you're causing is people are like tiptoeing around you because, and like that cast doesn't tiptoe. Like no one treats people like how people treat Heather, you know, like they'll call each other out on their shit, but they like all are tiptoeing around her because of all of Greg's health issues and stuff. And it's just like, I don't like it when Nini's like personal life isn't going well. She's just not a good housewife.
Yeah, I think Nini is an icon. Is a Housewives icon. She's just she's a pop culture icon. She transcends Housewives. People use memes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta across the board, whether you're a Housewives fan or not. I feel like people watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta who don't watch other franchises of the show. Atlanta's huge. It's huge. And Nini is a true icon and a legend. But there are seasons where she's really not at her best and she's not a good housewife. And there are, especially in some of those later seasons when you could tell she doesn't want to film with people. You could tell she needs things to go her way. It's just like, those are the seasons where we could do without Nene. But that's not taking away what an amazing housewife she is, just
like
overall. But there are times where she's not her best, and I think we are good to admit that.
Yeah, well, that's what I think like is great about her, because there's previous seasons where I'm like, please don't bring Nene and all of her misery back again.
Yeah.
And then like either she left for a season, or the next season she does like the 180, and you get like the enjoyable personality who like does talk shit, but also like knows when to stand up for people and doesn't take everything so personally, and it doesn't have to be focused on her. And like the finale that I just watched, is it Eva, who's the former top model, when she made a point of like, not everything has to be about you, because Cynthia was like trying to get Greg to come up just to kind of like acknowledge that he's like out and whatever, and Nene's like no, and it's like it just became, and I don't know, I wish all Nene seasons were good seasons. I find it like somewhat frustrating to have to, like, I get real life, like you have your ups and downs, but I feel like she projects so much. So like I felt bad for Cynthia, where she like has to choose between two friends who don't get along. Like Nene's like, I'm your sister, and it's like she shouldn't have to negate her friendship with Kenya anymore. Like she's not even on the fucking season with you. Anyway, I just want to put that out there.
She does kind of negate her friendship with. I don't know if you got.
No, she did. She does. Yeah,
she does.
When she's like, oh, we're just getting to know each other. But I think that like
if I were Kenya, I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah, because this is after that. So in the conversation with Nene, she's like, Kenya's my sister as well. She did like stand up to her for it. I thought that Cynthia, like besides like the kind of silent scheming, I wish she just kind of owned like, I invited both of you.
Right.
You guys can't, there's hundreds of people in that room. If you both can't be in the same room,
sit at a different table.
Yeah, it'll be okay. So but that's my Housewives update, and hopefully I'll be done with Atlanta soon. Not in a bad way. It's just like I'm ready for a new series.
Well, we're gonna get a lot soon.
I know there's gonna be so much. I'm trying to find the brand thing. Oh, there's all those Big Brother Canada people. Here we go. First, let's talk about what you're doing on the internet. My bad. Katie, what are you doing online?
Oh, no, all good. So you can find me on Twitter at RealSimKatie. That's where you'll find me talking about all things reality TV, Housewives, other things that probably don't interest you. And you could find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore at the end, where I will be talking about all of those same things that I talk about on Twitter, just with my voice and not my fingers. And I also will poorly play some games at the same time. So please feel free to stop by. And you can also catch me on Silent Podcasts covering Big Brother Canada. I was not able to join last week's recap, but we had a great guest, Spicy V from season 9, Big Brother Canada 9, iconic queen house guest. So check that out. And we'll be back this week covering all of the really wild dynamics of this Big Brother house, because it's really the most cracked season of Big Brother that I've seen in a really long time.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's cracked. It is cracked.
It didn't take me long to meet the hashtag. So like at least like Big Brother 20, like the last season happened, I normally mute the hashtag, but I was like, because the cookout formed so quickly, I was very invested in following this through Twitter, so I didn't mute it. But I have like no idea what's going on. There was one night where it was just like a lot of anger towards a guy named Kyle. And
I've been anti-Kyle from the get-go. I have to toot my own horn. You can listen to our draft podcast to hear my original feelings about Kyle before he entered the house.
So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to try and figure this out, and I muted it. But I'm glad that there's drama for you. I don't know.
It's like too much to keep up with.
My dog just looked at me in the cutest way. Stop it right now. I have to finish this. All right. Well, so Big Brother Canada is wilding out, and we've got coverage for it. Katie is on that panel. So go watch, listen, whatever your preferred method of content consumption is. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, KGD26. I'm not really saying too many interesting things right now. Mostly just because I've been like sitting in my room this week with my week off of work, and haven't anything to talk about. But when something, actually I was tweeting about WrestleMania, because my roommate's like a big wrestling fan. And I was in the living room because we have like multiple TVs. So we had like WrestleMania one, we had the Duke UNC game. So I wanted to watch the Duke UNC game.
Mm-hmm.
So I like some like wrestling podcasts started following me because I said that someone looked like he was dressed like Pitbull. So I'm now going to be
Wrestling
wrestling
is really having like a
podcasting.
resurgence in the last couple of years. I don't know if
I
it ever
haven't
really
seen-
went away, but it's coming into my timeline and my general like periphery. So I feel like that means it's like getting more mainstream popularity. It used to obviously be huge, but
Mhm.
I feel like it lulled and now it's back. I don't know.
Here's my very quick analysis on why is that and UFC were the two things that didn't go away
Yeah.
during the
Makes sense.
pandemic. And then, hold on. Hey, what are you chewing on? That
Uh-oh.
doesn't sound good. And that there is like a new wrestling AEW that's come out within the last like couple years.
Yes, I hear that's very popular.
Yeah, and like there's people liking that more than they like WrestleMania or like
Yeah.
WWE. But people are also saying that WrestleMania, the first night, which was last night, was like one of
it's
the
more
best
than one night.
WrestleManias ever, and there's still
Whoa.
part 2 tonight. So I don't know. I don't know anything beyond what I just said. Like you just exhausted all
Yeah.
of my wrestling knowledge.
It's
I did
more
go
than I
to
know.
a WWE event a few years ago, and it's strange if you aren't a fan because it's like the best way I can describe it is if you're like an atheist at a Catholic mass. Because like so a Catholic
makes
mass is
sense.
it's like you stand, you sit. When this happens, you sing. When this happens, you do like
Yeah.
you kneel, whatever. And like people just know. So you get like someone come out and all of a sudden like everyone's like chanting a certain thing. And someone else comes out and they're doing something else. And it's like, how do you know how to do all this? It's very strange. But
very interesting.
Anyway, so I will be watching the UConn women's basketball game tonight. They're playing in the national championship, and I'm sure
Nice.
WrestleMania will be on one of the TVs. So if you want more dumb tweets about WrestleMania, I'm your girl. Follow me there. But in terms of following us, we've got Twitch where you can follow us. You've got YouTube where you can follow us, and Twitter. So Twitch and YouTube, we're Silent Podcast. Twitter, we are silent_podcast, where you can catch all of our content. Again, we are in the middle of a Top Chef season. We have Survivor Australia coverage happening. I'm not sure if the Survivors coverage is happening. Maybe, maybe not. But
I think it is. I believe it is.
Hopefully it is. You might see some X on the Beach coverage coming. I don't want to promise that, but saw in the group chat. Basically, just listen along. We're here to cover all of your trash TV needs. So, but we will catch you next week, where I think we only have another New Jersey and Orange County.
And we thought it was going to be short, and we went 2 hours.
2 hours.
So we lied.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. But we will catch you then. And until then, have a great week. See you later.